The white sphere hummed louder, and every light panel in the chamber shut down, leaving only the glow of the spheres to light their faces. The darkness made her eyes seem even sharper, her smirk even more dangerous. "You have no idea how many humans are watching right now," she continued. "You think this is me versus you? No, Commander. This is us versus every arrogant alien who thinks we're prey." The red sphere twitched slightly, its crimson glow sharpening into a beam. It wasn't firing. Not yet. It was threatening. Arak glanced toward it, then back to her. "You destroy me here, you create a martyr." Riley leaned forward just enough that her lips almost brushed his ear. No, Commander. I don't create martyrs. I create examples." The silver-skinned alien barked, "Enough! Guards!" The moment the word left his mouth, the white sphere hummed sharply, and every guard's weapon slid out of their hands as if ripped away by an invisible hand. They clattered to the floor, useless. Riley didn't even glance at them. She kept her focus on Arak. "You've got 3 choices. 1, swallow your pride and live. 2, try me and lose. 3, her smile curled into something almost wicked. "Keep staring at me like that, and I'll start thinking you want to see how far this can go." A few of the alien leaders shifted in their seats, eyes darting between the commander and the human woman standing fearless before him. The tension in the air was thick enough to choke on. Arak's jaw tightened. "You will release the council." She tilted her head. "Only after I get what I came for, and not before." The hum of the spheres deepened. The floor beneath Arak's throne began to glow faintly red, like the heat of a forge just beginning to burn. Riley stepped back just slightly, giving him space, but still controlling the moment. "Last chance, Commander. Make it good. Because if you don't, your people will talk about this day forever, and not in the way you want." The chamber fell silent again. No one dared move. Even the hum of the spheres seemed to slow, as if waiting for his answer. Finally, Arak's lips moved. "I underestimated humans." Riley's smile deepened. Louder. "I underestimated humans. Better. Now say you won't threaten Earth again." He hesitated. The red sphere twitched closer to his throne. "I will not threaten Earth again." Her voice softened into something almost playful. There. Was that so hard? But before the council could breathe, the white sphere's glow flared bright, brighter than it had the entire time. Riley turned her head toward it, and for the first time, her smile faded into something unreadable. The white sphere's hum was no longer steady. It pulsed in short, sharp bursts, like a heartbeat that had started to race. The glow flickered, not in weakness, but in warning. Riley's smirk thinned into something sharper. "Seems my friend here just found something interesting." Arak's eyes narrowed. "What is it?" She didn't answer right away. Instead, she glanced at the red sphere. It hovered motionless, waiting. The 2 spheres exchanged a faint ripple of light between them, like a secret conversation in a language no one else could hear. Then, the white sphere projected a hologram into the air above the council table. It was a fleet, not Arak's. It was bigger. Dozens of massive ships, all marked with the seal of another alien empire. They were already on the move, heading for Earth. Gasps filled the chamber. Arak's expression darkened. "That is not ours." Riley's eyes locked on him. "No. Which means, while you were busy playing warlord," she leaned closer, "someone else decided to take your place." The silver-skinned council member growled. "This is a human trick." "I'll tell you one thing, Commander," she said softly. "This little beauty doesn't explode. It does something much worse." His voice was low. "What worse than death?" She smiled, That slow, dangerous kind of smile that made every alien in the room uneasy. You'll see. Or maybe you won't. Depends on whether you listen to me. The hum shifted again, a sharper, more urgent pitch. The glow of the sphere now pulsed like a heartbeat, matching Riley's calm breathing. Then, without warning, the sphere lifted higher, floating above the council table. The air seemed to bend around it, small flickers of light distorting the edges. A council member's datapad suddenly sparked and went dark. Another alien's armor panel shorted out, sending a quick arc of blue electricity across the floor. Gasps filled the room. Riley's voice cut through the noise. That's the thing about humans, gentlemen. She let her gaze sweep the chamber, making sure every set of eyes was on her. We make friends that don't need permission to misbehave. One of the younger alien guards muttered, "It's alive." Riley grinned. Not exactly, but close enough. Arak's tone turned hard. You will shut it down. Or what? She interrupted, her voice sharp now. You'll kill me? Go ahead. Do it. And when you do, this little friend of mine will choose a target. Maybe the power core of your flagship. Maybe your council archives. Or maybe it'll just follow you home. The chamber fell silent again. The alien leaders exchanged nervous glances. Riley leaned one hand on the council table, her voice soft again, almost teasing. So, are we ready to talk about that surrender yet? Arak didn't answer. He was staring at the sphere now, and she could see the tightness in his jaw, the fear he was trying to hide. Then, the lights in the chamber flickered. Once, twice, and then stayed dim. The silver skin, an alien pointed at the sphere. It's feeding on our systems. Riley straightened up, almost proud. Oh, so you are paying attention. Good boy. The hum deepened. The glow spread, and faint tendrils of white light began to curl from the sphere's surface like smoke made of lightning. Riley took a slow breath. This is the moment, Commander. You can save your fleet, save your council, and save yourself a galaxy's worth of humiliation. She paused, long enough for him to really hear the next words. All it costs you is your pride. His eyes narrowed. And if I say no? Her smirk turned wicked. Then you'll find out what it does to someone who says no to me. The sphere suddenly let out a sharp, high-pitched tone, almost like a laugh. The walls vibrated. Several guards stepped back. Arak's voice was low, almost a growl. You're dangerous, human. Riley leaned in slightly, her eyes locked on his. You have no idea. Yet. The second sphere floated beside the first, bigger, darker, and pulsing with a slow, dangerous light. Its glow wasn't white like the first. It was deep red, like a heartbeat under a layer of steel. Gasps rippled through the council chamber. Even Arak stepped back, his eyes narrowing. What is that? Riley didn't rush her answer. She circled the table slowly, her gaze shifting from alien to alien, letting the tension thicken with every step. That, she said finally, is the one you should really be worried about. The red sphere drifted lower, closer to the table. The metallic surface reflected alien faces twisted in fear. When it passed over the silver-skinned council member, his datapad instantly caught fire. He dropped it with a hiss, glaring at Riley. What does it do? He demanded. She smiled faintly. Oh, you'll know it when you feel it. The first sphere, the white one, began to hum again, but this time in sync with the second. The sound wasn't mechanical anymore. It felt alive. It resonated through the floor, the walls, even the air in their lungs. One of Arak's officers whispered, They're talking to each other. Sit down, Sparkle Boy, Riley cut in without even looking at him. Her focus stayed on Arak. You still think this is just about us? No, it's bigger. Someone out there wants Earth badly enough to come in behind your back. The red sphere drifted slightly, its glow sharpening. The white sphere's hum rose to match it. Whatever game Riley had been playing, it wasn't over. It was evolving. Arak's claws gripped the table. "What do you want from me now?" She smiled again. Slow, knowing, dangerous. An alliance. The entire chamber erupted in noise. Shouts, protests, curses in a dozen alien languages. Riley let it go on for a few seconds. Then the red sphere snapped a bolt of energy into the ceiling, silencing everyone instantly. "Let me make this simple," she said, her tone turning sharp. "You leave Earth alone. You defend it against whoever's coming. And in return," her smile softened into something flirty, "I make sure the whole galaxy hears that the mighty Commander Arak didn't just lose to a human. He chose to fight beside one." Arak studied her for a long moment. His pride was still there, but now it was tangled with something else. Respect. Reluctant, but real. "You think I will fight your battles?" he said finally. She tilted her head. "Oh, sweetheart, this isn't my battle anymore. It's yours too. Unless you'd rather explain to the galaxy why your fleet was sitting here, trapped by one woman, while someone else burned down the next prize you were drooling over." The hum of the spheres deepened again. The white one projected another hologram, this time of Earth's surface. Cities, oceans, mountains, beautiful and fragile. Riley's voice softened, just a little. "Earth isn't perfect. We fight. We argue. We make mistakes. But when someone comes for us, we become something you can't beat." Her smirk returned. "And trust me, you don't want to find out how bad it gets when we're all angry at the same time." For the first time, Arak gave the smallest nod. "Fine. I will fight beside you." The council erupted again, but Riley ignored them. Her eyes stayed on him. "Good boy." She tapped her wrist console. The hum of the spheres softened, their glow fading just slightly, like animals finally lowering their hackles. The red one drifted back toward her side. The white one followed. But as she turned to leave, the white sphere pulsed one more time, projecting a final hologram. It wasn't of Earth or the incoming fleet. It was of a single, shadowy figure, watching from the bridge of one of those massive ships. The face was hidden, but the smile was unmistakable. Riley's own smile froze. "Oh, well, that's going to be fun." She glanced over her shoulder at Arak. "Commander, you might want to stick close to me. Looks like the real party hasn't even started." And with that, she walked out, both spheres floating behind her like loyal pets, leaving the council to stare at each other in uneasy silence. For the first time, Riley's smile softened, but only slightly. "I want you to understand that the next time the council talks about humans, you remember this day. You remember my face. And you remember the moment you realized you're not in control anymore." Arak's claws flexed, metal scraping against the throne. He glanced toward the massive doors at the back of the chamber, as if weighing his chances. Riley saw it. "Run if you like," she said, her tone light, almost playful. "But I'll still find you. Humans always do." The silver-skinned alien spoke again, his voice trembling now. "If you destroy our fleet, the galaxy will see this as an act of war." Riley's eyes glinted. "Oh, honey, the galaxy already declared war on us. We're just better at finishing it." Suddenly, a deep, metallic groan echoed overhead. One of the glowing runes in the chamber flickered and went dark. The air smelled faintly of ozone and fear. Arak's officers began shouting in their own language. Some of the council members stood up, their long robes swirling. The room felt tighter, hotter, like a trap snapping shut. Riley took one slow step back, just enough to see them all at once. "Look at you," she said softly. "A room full of the most powerful beings in the galaxy, and you're scared of one human." Her eyes locked on Arak. "I'd be scared too." Another explosion shook the chamber. Dust drifted down from the high ceiling. Somewhere far below, the sound of metal tearing filled the air. Arak bared his teeth. "You think you've won?" Riley's smirk returned. "No, Commander. I know I have." And then, without warning, the massive chamber doors slammed shut with a deafening clang. Heavy locks engaged. One by one, the exits sealed. The alien leaders turned in confusion, trapped. Riley just crossed her arms. "Now, it's just you, me, and a very short amount of time before your fleet dissipate."
Ears. Her voice dropped again, quiet but sharp enough to cut the air. "Want to negotiate, or want to see how far I'm willing to go?" Arak stared at her, green eyes narrowing, calculating. But for the first time since she arrived, there was something else there too, a flicker of doubt, and something he'd never admit: curiosity. The silence in the chamber was so heavy that when the next alarm started, it sounded like the heartbeat of the entire room. Only this time, the alarm wasn't from the fleet. It was coming from inside the chamber itself. The alarm pulsed like a heartbeat, slow, steady, dangerous. Every alien in the chamber looked toward the far wall. A circular panel slid open, revealing a small glowing sphere. It floated, humming softly, almost harmless in appearance. But Riley's eyes lit up like she'd just spotted a winning card in her hand. "Ah, there you are." Arak's voice was sharp. "What is that?" She didn't answer him. Instead, she stepped closer to the sphere, her fingertips brushing the air just inches away from it. "Funny thing about humans," she said softly. "We're not the fastest, or the strongest, or even the smartest." She turned her head, her gaze sliding over Arak, lingering just long enough to make him shift in his seat. "But when it comes to improvising, to making something dangerous out of whatever we've got," her lips curved, "we're unmatched." The sphere's glow deepened to a deep crimson. Several council members rose to their feet, their voices tense. One of Arak's officers barked, "Deactivate it!" They pressed controls on their wrist consoles. Nothing happened. Riley chuckled under her breath. "Oh, did I forget to mention? This little beauty doesn't listen to you." Arak stepped down from his throne, each movement slow and deliberate. "You are bluffing." Riley took a single step toward him. "Commander, you've been in this room with me for less than 10 minutes. She leaned in slightly, her voice low enough that it felt intimate. "And you still think I bluff? You messed with humans. Bad move. They thought Earth was weak. They thought we'd kneel. They thought they could take what they wanted and walk away untouched. But what they didn't know is that we don't fight fair. We don't stop. We don't forgive. And when you make the wrong human angry, it's not your ships, your weapons, or your armies you should fear. It's the smile they give you, right before you realize you're not leaving alive. Welcome, friends, to Historia Unseen, where we tell the tales the galaxy doesn't want you to hear. I'm your storyteller tonight, your voice in the dark. And this is a story for every human who's ever been underestimated. Let's begin. The alien warship hung above Earth, silent, cold, and far too close. It wasn't just big. It was obscene in size, like a dark moon blotting out the stars. From orbit, Commander Arak looked down at the blue planet. Humans were small, primitive, easy prey. At least, that's what the Galactic Council had told him. Inside the White House war room, alarms blared. Satellites tracked the ship's every move. But there was no panic in Captain Riley Hayes' eyes. Tall, sleek, and dressed in a black combat suit that hugged every curve, she leaned over the table. Her voice was calm, dangerous. "They think we'll beg," she said softly. "They think they can scare us. Her lips curved into a slow, confident smile. I think it's time they learn how bad that idea really is. A junior officer swallowed hard. Captain, are you seriously planning to go up there alone? Riley didn't answer. She just zipped up her suit, slow enough for the room to notice, fast enough to make it clear she wasn't doing it for them. Her eyes locked on the live feed of the alien ship. You ever seen a lion afraid of a house cat? She asked. The officer shook his head. Neither have I. Minutes later, her shuttle broke Earth's atmosphere. The black hull shimmered in the sunlight as it rose toward the Zareth Prime. Inside, Riley sat alone, helmet off, hair flowing loose. She was armed, but she knew her real weapon wasn't in her holster. It was the way she could make someone's heart race, right before breaking it. The alien docking bay swallowed her shuttle whole. Guards waited, tall, armored, with strange glowing eyes. One stepped forward, scanning her from head to toe. You are human? His voice was deep, rough, confused. She tilted her head. What were you expecting? 4 arms? Tentacles? Or... Her eyes flicked down, then back up with a smirk. Something bigger? The alien froze. The other guards shifted uncomfortably. Riley brushed past them without another word. They led her through long metallic corridors, the walls pulsing with alien light. Every alien they passed stared. Some in curiosity, some in disgust, and some in a way that made her smile. When the doors to the council chamber opened, the room swallowed her whole. It was vast, impossibly tall, glowing with strange holographic runes. Thrones lined the sides, each holding a different alien leader. Claws, fangs, armored skin, all watching her. At the far end, on a throne larger than the rest, sat Commander Arak. He was massive, his armor black as space, his eyes burning green. When he spoke, his voice filled the chamber. You are the human who thinks she can speak for her world? Riley walked forward, slow, deliberate, heels clicking against the floor. Her hips swayed, not exaggerated, just enough to say, I am not afraid of you. I don't just speak for my world, she said, her voice smooth as silk. I speak for the worst mistake you've ever made. The council stirred. One alien leaned toward another. She is mocking us? Riley caught it. Yes, she said, without even looking at them. And you'll thank me for it later. Archaea. Axe claws gripped the arms of his throne. Human, you are surrounded. You are outnumbered. And you are... His gaze swept over her. Weak. She stepped closer. He stared at her for a long moment, his jaw tightening. The hum of the sphere grew louder. The air in the chamber felt heavier, electric. One of the council members hissed, "What is it set to do?" Riley glanced over her shoulder, almost casually. Let's just say, it doesn't like staying in one place. The silver-skinned alien from before sneered. You humans and your games. She smiled without looking at him. You call it a game? I call it foreplay. The reaction was immediate. A few nervous laughs from the younger guards, tight stares from the older council members. Riley didn't care. She wanted them off balance, and she was getting exactly what she wanted. Arak's claws twitched at his sides. Tell me what you want. Now. Her eyes locked on his. I want a message sent to every system in the Council's control. I want them to hear, in your own words, that Earth is not to be touched, traded, or threatened. He didn't respond. She stepped closer again, close enough to smell the faint metallic tang of his armor. Her voice dropped into something slow and deliberate. And I want you to admit, in front of all these people, that you underestimated a human. The silence stretched. The hum of the sphere was almost hypnotic now, deep and steady. Finally, Arak spoke. And if I refuse? Riley's smirk was soft, dangerous. Then I tell my little friend here. She nodded toward the sphere. To start moving. And once it moves... She paused, tilting her head, her eyes sparkling with challenge. Well, let's just say you won't like where it stops. The silver-skinned alien slammed a clawed hand on the table. This is madness. You expect us to believe a human woman can walk in here and... Riley's voice cut through his like a blade. Believe it, or test me. Arak took a long, deep breath. The green in his eyes flickered. Not just rage, but calculation. He was weighing his odds. The problem was, he didn't know half the cards she was holding. Riley could see the indecision in his posture. She leaned in just a little more, her tone suddenly teasing again. Careful, Commander. You're looking at me like you're wondering what else I'm hiding. The hum of the sphere rose sharply, no longer steady but pulsing fast, like it was about to wake up. Every alien in the chamber froze. Riley's gaze didn't leave Arak. This is your last chance. Surrender, or find out exactly what happens next. The commander stared at her, then at the sphere, then back at her again. And for the first time, she saw it. The flicker of fear behind his eyes. The sphere's white glow filled the council chamber. The hum was no longer a hum. It was a deep, vibrating growl in the air. Every alien eye was locked on it. Every hand, claw, tentacle, or otherwise, had frozen mid-motion. Riley didn't move. She just stood there, calm, confident, letting them feel the tension. And she knew it was working. Arak took one slow step toward her. What is it? Her smirk returned. Let's call it my +1. One of his officers barked orders in their guttural language, trying to override the device. Panels on the wall lit up, alien runes flashing. Nothing happened. Riley tilted her head. Aw, you're trying to turn it off? That's adorable. The silver-skinned council member slammed his hand on the table. You will explain this, now! She turned toward him, eyes half-lidded in amusement. Wouldn't it be more fun if you guessed? Besides, isn't suspense a little exciting? The alien made a sound somewhere between a growl and a hiss. Arak, however, didn't speak. His gaze stayed locked on her, searching for weakness. Riley slowly began to walk, not toward the sphere, but toward him. Her boots echoed against the metallic floor, each step deliberate. She knew exactly what she was doing, making the most dangerous man in the room feel like he was the one trapped. I'm not the one who came all the way here to lose. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. The alien guards shifted uneasily. Riley's voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. I know why you're here. You want our oceans, our minerals, our skies. She paused, her lips curling. But you forgot one thing. Humans don't just fight to win. We fight to humiliate the enemy. Arak leaned forward, eyes narrowing. You think you can humiliate me? Her smirk deepened. Sweetheart, I already have. You just haven't realized it yet. Some of the alien leaders chuckled, low, unsure. Others bristled. And somewhere, deep in the shadows of the chamber, a red warning light flickered. It wasn't from her. It wasn't from them. It was something else. Riley noticed, but said nothing. She had them exactly where she wanted them. Every second they looked at her, they weren't looking at what was happening behind them. Because while they thought she was just a mouthy human in a tight suit, Earth's forces were already inside their systems. The trap was closing. She stopped just a few feet from Arak's throne. He looked down at her, his face unreadable, and then, very quietly, she said, By the time you realize what I've done, it'll be too late to run. The chamber fell into absolute silence. And then, the floor under her feet began to shake. She didn't look scared. She looked almost excited. The alarm screamed through the council chamber. Red light flashed across alien faces. But Riley didn't move. She stood there, perfectly still, with that same slow, dangerous smile. Commander Eric rose from his throne, towering over her. "You did something." His voice wasn't anger now. It was something else. Suspicion. Riley tilted her head, pretending to think. "Oh, I don't know. Maybe I just pressed a few buttons on the way in." She leaned closer, her voice dropping low enough that only he could hear. "Or maybe I pressed all the right buttons, Commander." He froze for a second, not because of the words, but because of the way she said them. Half of the council leaned forward. The others shifted uncomfortably, sensing the balance of power had changed, but not knowing how. Behind Arak, one of his officers whispered urgently, "Our shields are down. Internal security is compromised." Arak's head snapped toward him. "What?" Riley's laugh was soft, almost mocking. "You're a big, scary alien warlord, and yet here you are getting stripped down without even noticing." Her eyes flicked over his armor for just a second before meeting his gaze again. Metaphorically, of course. Another alarm blared, louder this time. A hologram appeared in the center of the chamber, showing alien warships drifting helplessly, surrounded by small, fast-moving human fighters. Every alien leader began speaking at once, their voices mixing in panic. Arak slammed his clawed hand onto the arm of his throne, silencing them. His eyes burned into Riley's. "You came here to threaten me." She took a slow step closer. "No, Commander. I came here to warn you." Her voice was calm, but her eyes were sharp, electric. "I warned you in the first 30 seconds you saw me. You just didn't listen. You were too busy underestimating me." One of the council members, a tall, silver-skinned alien, leaned forward, his voice dripping with arrogance. "You humans, you use tricks, deception, seduction. You do not fight with honor." Riley didn't even look at him. "Honor is for people who can afford to lose." She turned back to Arak. "And guess what, Commander? You can't afford it right now." The floor shook again, harder this time. The sound of distant explosions echoed through the chamber walls. Riley didn't flinch. Arak's voice lowered. "What do you want?" Riley looked at him with mock surprise. "Wow, you catch on quick. I might keep you around." Arak's voice was sharp now. "You brought weapons into my chamber." Her tone turned teasing. "Oh no, Commander, I brought pets. And trust me, they're very loyal." The red sphere suddenly released a thin arc of crimson light that struck the floor, and the spot it hit began to melt. The council members recoiled instantly. Riley rested a hand on the table, leaning slightly toward Arak. "You see, one plays with your systems." She nodded toward the white sphere. "The other plays with your toys." Her eyes glinted. "And in case you're wondering, Commander, you're one of the toys." His jaw tightened. "You think you can scare me into surrender?" Riley's smirk deepened. "Oh, honey, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to educate you, because clearly no one told you. What happens when you make the wrong human angry?" The red sphere drifted toward him. Every guard in the room raised their weapons. But the moment they did, the white sphere hummed louder, and every single weapon shut down at once. Metallic clicks echoed as rifles and plasma blasters powered off. Not one alien dared to move. Riley took her time walking around the table, closing the distance between herself and Arak. When she stopped in front of him, she tilted her head. "You can call off your invasion, walk away, and live to tell everyone you made a strategic retreat." Her voice softened into something sharper. "Or you can stay stubborn and watch me take your fleet apart one glowing piece at a time." Arak's green eyes locked on hers. "You're bluffing." She stepped closer, so close her words brushed the air between them. "Then call my bluff, big boy." The hum of the spheres grew louder, faster, almost impatient. The white one pulsed brighter, casting shadows across Arak's face. The red one's light deepened, small sparks dancing along its surface. Riley leaned back just slightly, glancing toward the council. "You see,
The thing about humans is, we don't just survive. We adapt. We get creative. We get dirty. And sometimes, we get a little naughty with the rules. A low vibration rolled through the floor. Panels along the walls began to flicker and burn out, one by one. Arak finally spoke. You want a message sent? Fine, but the council will never... Boom! The red sphere fired a single arc of energy into the far wall. A hole burned straight through the alien alloy, still glowing molten at the edges. The silence afterward was heavy, suffocating. Riley's voice broke it. I'll make it easy for you, Commander. Yes or no? The red sphere didn't move. It just floated there, humming, glowing, its aim locked on Arak's throne like a predator waiting for the perfect strike. Riley didn't rush him. She let the silence do the work. She knew fear tasted better when it had time to sink in. Finally, Arak broke the stillness. What do you want me to say? She stepped toward him slowly, her eyes never leaving his. I want you to say that you underestimated humans. I want you to say that you'll never threaten Earth again. And I want you to say it, loud enough for every star system listening to hear it. The silver-skinned council member slammed his claw on the table. This is humiliation! Riley glanced at him with a sweet, mocking smile. Oh, it's foreplay. Humiliation comes later. Several younger guards shifted awkwardly, clearly unsure whether to laugh or keep their weapons ready. One of them whispered to another, Is she serious? Riley caught it, flashing them both a wink. Sweetheart, I'm always serious. Arak's claws flexed against the arm of his throne. His voice was tight. You are a single human, alone, surrounded. Do you really think? She cut him off without raising her voice. Yes, I do.